Oh, the man is out on the field. He's going to go into the end zone. He's got it. Goes Davis. Oh, my God. Davis is going to run it all the way back. It's going to win the field. It's going to be to the goal line. It's going to be gone. It's a touchdown. And the Gators have won the game.
50 to the 40. Herman Whitfield to the 30 to the 20. 15, 10, 5. Touchdown FSU.
Take two. Coming back live. All right. Hopefully we've resolved the issues. We literally did nothing. So I don't know. we went into the non-live and they sounded fine. And we really did nothing. I don't understand what's going on.
So this is obviously a you problem, not a me problem.
Yeah, no, this is, and it's not the people at home's problem because they're not gonna I wouldn't listen if it was crackling like that. So we're gonna get going. All right, let's just start off. Nebraska Northwestern thoughts, Joey. I already gave. Well, I'll give my thoughts again on it, but you go ahead, Joey.
Yeah, this is really the only reason I was upset at not being on this last week for week 0. Because I would have talked so much shit about Nebraska. Would have been heavy on Northwestern. Robert knew I was because he was at my house. I had their money line. I had
Can't confirm.
Nebraska shouldn't be favored by double digits over anybody. They're terrible. They've been a terrible program since before Scott Frost got there. Northwestern's going to be better coached. You know, they're not going to have more talent than anybody that they play. But it just proved in that game, Nebraska fell apart like they always do in one-score games, and the better coached team won. You get all that?
No, got every single bit of it. I'm jizzing my pants right now. That's so good.
Oh my god.
Oh god. All right. Dude, I don't even know. We're walking on thin ice right now with the audio.
I'm scared to speak.
So scary. I'm so scared. All right. I was at Joey's house, so I'll go ahead before you, Justin. And it was a back and forth game. It was a fun way to start college football again. In Ireland too. And at one point there was free beer because I guess their systems went down. And so because they're Irish, they were just like, we're not making people wait for their beers. There's going to be a riot. So they just started giving out free beer. Never would have happened in America. The dumb concession stand people we have here would have been like, nah, you got to wait. You got to go get something else. That would have never happened in America. I mean, ever. It just happened because they're Irish and they're like, you're not going to fucking I can't do the as we established on Saturday, I cannot do the Irish accent. I don't know why.
Lord.
But Hull, my guy, 119 yards, Evan Hull on the ground. They just fed the man. That offensive line bullied Nebraska's defensive line in the trenches and got the job done. That was the game. Whenever it came down to it, they were able to run the ball and control the clock there at the end of the game.
Yep. I can't disagree with you more. You know, something I've always said about Northwestern is they are that school that just builds O-linemen. It's a tough place to recruit, right? But they're going to find size and they coach it be a really, really, really good dynasty when it comes to linemen. Rashawn Slater's the most recent prospect out of there, who was first team All-Pro in his rookie year in the NFL, of course. That's where they won it. And it's won in a lot of games like that. You're going to win at the line, and they're able to run the ball down the throats. Matt Fitzgerald, he's always very consistent in the way he coaches. I don't know why Nebraska was so heavily favored. It never made sense to me. That team went 3-9. They lost to Illinois to start the last year. I was like, give them a better team in Northwestern this year. I wasn't surprised to see a similar outcome.
Yeah, and you know, maybe Scott Frost is saying maybe I shouldn't have onside kicked it once we got all the momentum. Nebraska, I believe they extended the lead or retook the lead. I can't really remember right now. And then they onside kicked the ball, and Northwestern got the ball at like the 45-yard line. So, and then they scored on that drive. So looking back at it, that's one of those things where some people will say, "Hey, if it works, then it's a genius move." I don't think so. I think he kicked the ball down the field. Their defense was playing pretty good up until that point. They're giving away some points, but they weren't. They didn't give up on themselves. And then there at the end, I felt like Nebraska just could not stop Northwestern, and Northwestern, they were doing a good job on defense. So you got to
Yeah,
keep that momentum going.
that was the difference in the game because Nebraska had all the momentum. I heard Scott Frost say that he thought that if they went down there and got it, the game's over. Well, probably, but what are the chances you're actually going to get a surprise onside kick? They're extremely low. Northwestern got it. They scored. They won by one possession.
Yeah.
Nebraska.
Rapid speed here. UConn gave Utah State a little bit of a run for their money. Maybe Utah State got out to a slow start. It's what you get for wearing white uniforms at home. Don't like it unless you're Penn State or the Gators. I don't know. And then Wyoming, Illinois. Illinois looked pretty good. Brett Bielema doing a good job up there, playing Bielema ball, and a tough, hard-hitting Illinois team. That's what I saw.
Wyoming
And also a Wyoming quarterback who can't really throw the ball.
He looks awful.
Mm-hmm. Any thoughts there on those two games?
No, nothing crazy with those two games because, they were just week 0 matches. Nothing crazy popped out to me. Wyoming, saw the quarterback play, wasn't very strong whatsoever. UConn, Utah, not impressed with anything happening there either.
UConn was the second worst team in college football last year, really the last 2 seasons, with UMass being the worst team in college football, D1. Utah State plays Alabama next week. They struggled with UConn, didn't cover the spread by any close at all. So that's going to be a fun one.
It's going to be a fun
for
one.
Alabama.
Good bet, yeah. All right, maybe not a good bet. Alabama's going to be heavily favored there. Duquesne, the Duquesne. Nicknames. I was over at. That's not how to spell it. Still don't think so. I was over at Joey's house, and we were arguing over what the nickname was, what their mascot was, and Joey looked it up. He was like, "They're the Dukes, Duquesne Dukes." It's simple as that. But on the broadcast, on the ESPN broadcast, when they brought their screen on, it said Duquesne nickname. They didn't even bother to put FS Florida State Seminoles. They just said Duquesne nickname, and I just thought that was a slap in the face. But they did look like a high school. Might have been a high school. Might have been Bishop Sycamore, college style. What I think. But what do you think about Florida State here, Joey? You're the Florida State correspondent. I'll let you have the first word here.
Yeah, you really can't take anything away from the game. There is one thing you can take away from the game, and I'll get to that. But Jordan Travis scored on every possession he was in on. They did nothing but run the ball down their throat. They had 3 running backs with over 100 yards. That's who they're going to be this year. They're going to run the shit out of the ball. They got a bunch of talented running backs. They really got a 4th talented running back, a freshman who did score a touchdown. Throwing the ball, you didn't learn a whole lot. Johnny Wilson got hurt in the first play. He's supposed to be really good. Deuce Spann can be really good. They didn't do anything. They didn't try to do anything that was going to impress you. But the thing that really didn't impress anybody is Tate Rodemaker sucked. He sucked every time he's gotten to a football game. He goes up there against Duquesne, who, I don't know what to tell you. And the only reason they scored is Tate Rodemaker threw a terrible interception. They returned to the 20-yard line and scored on the next play or the play after. So the issue becomes now if Jordan Travis gets hurt, and really it's probably when Jordan Travis gets hurt because of how often he likes to run and he does not like to slide. You got to put Tate Rodemaker in. He can't play. He can't play when the lights are on. Everyone said that he's had a really good practice, really good camp, really good spring. But now, it doesn't matter if you practice well if you can't play in the game. So when he has to play, I have no faith that he'll get it done. A.J. Duffy's just a true freshman. He's not – and he might have to be the guy, but he's not ready to be the guy. So I kind of am going to bring my win prediction for FSU down because I think there's going to be a game that Tate has to go into, whether it's starting or playing meaningful snaps in the second half, and he just can't get it done. So I thought they might win 9 games before. Now I'm thinking probably 7.
Joey Two Guns, a.k.a. Our Florida State Joe. We got Florida State Joey as a co-host, and we got our fan of the podcast here in the chat. He's saying Duffy looked okay to you. Joey, you were wasted. I saw those texts after from the Libertarian Party. He did not look good. at
Wait,
all.
which Cody were you saying was wasted? The other guy?
The other guy,
Oh, okay.
this Joey, yeah, in the chat. Yeah. I don't think he looked good. So I think you're right. Jordan Travis is gonna have to learn how to protect himself for the good of the team, really.
And
But
Jordan looked good, really,
he's good.
the second half of last year when they benched McKenzie for good finally. Jordan threw, I think, the last 4 or 5 games, threw for over 250 yards. He looked really good in this game. Again, they didn't do much, but he threw for over 200 yards. He really didn't have to run the ball. He did have the one rushing touchdown, but
Yeah.
I think he's going to
Any
get hurt
thoughts
at some
there
point.
before we skip to the? We're gonna rapid speed these last few games.
Jordan Travis, this is, in my mind, has kind of been one of the more overhyped players in college football for the past recent years. Maybe I'm just saying that because I live in Pensacola and I'm surrounded by Florida State fan. Every year, they're like, Jordan Travis is the guy. Jordan Travis is the guy. I'm just like, you all shut up. Let's hope you can make a bowl game this year. But he, of course, he's an athlete. He is a natural athlete. He's going to make things happen with that. But it's still, I haven't seen real quarterback potential come from him when it comes to real games.
Gotcha. All right. Yep. Yeah. Agreed. So, Florida Atlantic and the Fighting Willie Taggart Owls defeat Charlotte 43-13. I think one of our buddies had Charlotte on there. That Florida Atlantic looked okay. It's kind of hard to. You had Charlotte as well. Yeah, it's kind of hard to judge that one. I thought Florida Atlantic would get them though, and Charlotte's never been too good. Joey in the chat says he may have been white girl wasted. Yeah, you definitely were. If you thought what's his name was doing good, he just looked terrible to me. Florida A&M puts up points on UNC, which gives me pause on UNC going into this Appalachian State game going forward that we'll mention later. Do you guys feel the same way about that?
It's going to be interesting in Chapel this year.
I think they've been hyped every year for the past 20 years, but yeah, they're not looking good.
I don't know the exact stats behind 20 years, but definitely the past couple for sure. That FAMU game, I went in there like saying, FAMU was supposed to forfeit that game. The coaches actually letting their players' hands saying, we don't think it's proper or healthy for us to play. We'll leave it up to y'all. And they said, no, we want to play, even though they had 7 offensive linemen eligible and they had 27 players out who weren't registered. And they still played with a lot of heart. And they, I was rooting for them there, of course, because they're in a good situation. And UNC still struggled at home.
Mm-hmm.
When FAMU plays Jackson State, it's going to be a really good game.
Oh, for sure.
Who plays Jackson State?
When FAMU plays Jackson State.
Oh, that'd be fun to watch, honestly. I think Jackson State's probably loaded this year, right? Travis Hunter.
Jackson State was loaded for that division last year, and FAMU only lost by like 3 points or something like that. So
nice. I'm not too knowledgeable on that division. This is a racist podcast.
Oh my God, that took such a turn.
So
wow.
racist. You don't keep up with Jackson State and FAMU, Robert.
Robert's not keeping up with the HBCUs. What are you doing there, bub?
You know what? I'll have to.
Well, no, actually, so I am keeping on Jackson State right now. Apparently, the entire football program is without water and toilets and showers because that water crisis going there in Mississippi. I was like, wow, like that's just like something that's really crazy, especially that they're in the season and they're over here trying to practice without a lot of necessities that go a long way in the program.
Yeah, you need to take a pre-practice dump, always happening. But whenever we played football before a game, dude, the stalls would be loaded up. That's what you do. You eat your pregame meal and you got to take a pregame dump. Otherwise, you're stuck in pads and you're away from the locker room. You're not going to get a good shit on the sideline. You're going to have to keep it in. And then you might – there's several players shit their pants over in some games. A Florida player did it. He transferred. He couldn't do it anymore. Everyone made fun of him shit his pants. All right. Hawaii at Vanderbilt. That's the only other one I want to touch on. Nevada couldn't really score even against New Mexico State. So that's a little tidbit going forward. And Vanderbilt waxed Hawaii at Hawaii.
That was wild.
I don't think we move Vanderbilt up to say like we know for sure they're better. I just think you kind of take Hawaii back a little bit, right?
Maybe. I
Hawaii
don't
might
know.
be
What
my
do you do
UMass.
here? I mean, that thing is it's like we all picked Hawaii to win that game. Well, I don't know about you, Joey, but I know Davis, you, Rob, and we all did. And I was just like, when I saw the score of that game, I was like, I get they're an SEC school. It doesn't mean that they're good, but better than what we expected.
Yeah. No jet lag
Hawaii
there.
was pretty big. Every gambling podcast I listened to was Hawaii, Hawaii, Hawaii. Yeah, they didn't do anything. It was just from the start they were dead. I'm probably going to bet against them every week going forward, just until they prove me wrong. So,
Well, yeah,
I think they're over
Austin Reed's going there this week.
wins. Yeah, and I think their over-under was 4.5 wins, and there's no chance they reach that. I really wish I hopped on that before the season.
Yeah, and a lot of the podcasts I'm listening to now, they have Western Kentucky blowing up the scoreboard on Hawaii, and then we'll see. I think it could happen. I don't know. It's too early. I'm not going to touch Hawaii for at least a few weeks. That's what I'm thinking right now. Same with Vanderbilt. Actually, you could probably touch Vanderbilt going into the SEC schedule, so that might be more predictable than Hawaii. All right, so moving on. Week 1 is finally here. Everyone's playing. We don't just have a little week 0 teaser, and we have Thursday games. We got Friday, Saturday, and Sunday games to go over. And if you guys want a specific game to go over, you can talk about it. But I'm not going to go over every single game. We'd be here forever. But one game I'm looking at betting wise, Central Michigan at Oklahoma State. That's a Thursday night game, and it's a 6 p.m. game right here on ESPN. Minus 21.5 for Oklahoma State. I put this on my weekly pick'em. I got involved weekly pick'em with Joey. Seems pretty cool. I took Central Michigan here. I think the Chippewas can cover 21 points. Oklahoma State's been known to have a couple close games. Central Michigan, it has nothing to do with this year, but they did beat Oklahoma State. That one Hail Mary where he tossed the ball back and ran all the way across the field. One of the greatest plays in college football, I think. And they have a history. I don't know. I'm not buying the 21.5 points here.
I think it's about right. Oklahoma State's going to have a solid defense again. And that's not a joke this time. I like Central Michigan. They're a fun team to bet on for me, just because I've had a random bet on them one time with a bunch of friends, and we all won. I had a bachelor party. But anyway, funny story. But yeah, I like Oklahoma State. I like them to win about 21, 24 points, so I'm not going to touch it. But it should be a fun game. I'll probably watch it.
Yeah, Oklahoma State, they've always been slow with starts versus non-Power 5 schools. I go to Tulsa, 2 years ago, struggled the exact same way. Tulsa could have came out on top of that game. And I probably last time Central Michigan faced them, I think that was the game, I think, if I'm not mistaken. So Oklahoma State should be interesting, but I think Indy should still have this one up.
Yeah, I think they win it, but I got Central Michigan covering. I'm not going to lock it. At the same time, we have West Virginia at Pittsburgh here. JT Daniels, new quarterback over at West Virginia, transferred in, and Pittsburgh, highly ranked. Some people have them as their favorite to win the ACC on their side of the division. What do you guys think about this? We get a Thursday night big rivalry game here.
Yeah, this is why week 1's so tough, because I like Pittsburgh, and I don't know if it's because of what we saw last year. And obviously, they don't have the Blitnikoff winner anymore. They don't have Kenny Pickett anymore. But I still think they're going to be good. I think Slovis is going to he's going to be solid. I think he was solid when he was at USC. I think that's where he was before, USC. So I like Pitt. I like the 7.5, so I'll be betting that one, but it's not a lock for me.
Yeah. It's no lock for me either. I saw the spread was minus 7.5 for Pitt. I don't want to know if I want to touch that. I might like the under here, though. I might like the under given the new quarterback situation and it being the first game of the season, but you never know. I'm going to stay away from this one. I'm going to say, just because it's home field and just going into the season, I'm going to give Pittsburgh the win here, just overall.
I'm not. If I'm being completely honest. I not because I favor West Virginia to win this game. It's just Pitt's going to be in a completely different situation than what they were, wide receiver and quarterbacks. But coming to it, JT Daniels has experience in Power Five, and they should be on top.
All right. I feel like since we haven't made any locks, we got to make a new rule for the year. I'm thinking we get 3 locks every week. And if you get them right, that's fine and good. You should be rewarded. If you get them wrong, I feel like you have to take a shot.
We did that. Oh, we had one shot game last year. That's what we
We
did.
had one shot game last year. I think we should step it up and put your money where your mouth is.
So you got to win 2 out of 3. If you win 2 out of 3, or if you lose 2 out of 3, you have to take a shot.
Sure. I mean, I'm open to offers. I was saying that you would take like if you lost at all 3 games, you got to take 3 shots.
I'm not doing that.
All right, that's fine. That's fine. And it's Tuesday nights, so I understand.
Yeah.
I understand. Maybe it could be paid back on Saturday. We could think of something like that. I don't know. So you're saying 2 out of 3, and you don't have to take a shot.
Yeah, if you lose 2 out of 3 or 3 out of 3, you have to take a shot. I think that's reasonable. You don't have
That's
to take
reasonable.
a shot
Yeah.
podcast like we did last time.
Yeah. Do you agree to the terms and conditions?
Yeah, I agree with the terms and conditions. Yeah, I'm down.
All right, and Davis is gonna agree because he's not here. So we just outvoted as 3 out of 4 at least. So that's good. I think I did okay. I don't remember my locks from last week. I'm gonna do a better job of doing that, keeping track of the locks. But good rule moving forward. I'm not spending a lock on either of these games. With that being said, I'm not spending a lock on this Tennessee game that's next. I think Tennessee wins big. I'm not touching the spread or anything though because I don't trust Tennessee and their defense. I want to see what the defense is made of before I touch them at all. Tennessee, thoughts on Tennessee?
That's all I got.
Yeah, they're going to be good this year. I think their offense is going to be real good. Their defense has got another year under the new defensive coordinator. So I see that as a positive, but it's still unsure for me. They're playing Ball State here. So what is it? Spreads like 35.5, I think. They should be able to cover.
Yeah.
35. Yeah, they should be able to do fine.
Yeah, Tennessee's going to be fine this year. It's going to be really interesting within the East, of course. Everyone's had all sorts of predictions for them in Kentucky, but we'll get into that later.
Yeah, the East is going to be crazy, and we're going to find out real soon with the Florida-Utah game, which I don't fucking mention that yet. Sad about it. We'll see what happens. UCF hosting South Carolina State.
Who cares?
No one really cares. That's fine. UCF gets that one. Florida International, Brian, no one cares. Toledo, Long Island University. Solid defense on Long Island University there. Same with VMI. They're traveling to Wake Forest. Wake Forest, going to be good this year, ACC guy?
No, it all depends. They lost their quarterback, Sam Hartman, to a non-football thing. That's a huge loss. He was going to be good, and I actually had it down as a loss for FSU before that. If he doesn't play, they're saying he's going to be back.
Interesting. No, I've heard a lot about that kid. Apparently that kid's been through a lot. So,
Sam Hartman.
I mean, curious to see. Yeah, apparently, not to call anybody a head case, but he's a head case with a lot that goes on. I don't know what happened to Joey. He's frozen on my screen, by the way. Hartman,
yeah, he's just frozen over that. Oh, dude, what can you take a screenshot of that? That's funny.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Just,
Joey, yeah, we're gonna kick him out and then he can hop back in.
Are we doing better though? I feel like we're doing better.
Oh yeah, we're doing so much better.
Now it's going to shit.
Can you hear me?
Raggy.
Can you hear me, Sammy?
Just let it chill for a second. Just let it chill. Yeah, we can hear and see you now.
Better.
Yeah, it's better. Yeah. All right. That was the funniest
Yeah, I mean,
part for it to stop on. You were like, oh, 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 spirit fingers. All right. All right, okay. Podcast. Penn State at Purdue. This one's a tough one here. I think Penn State has it. It's -3.5. I think Penn State wins by a touchdown at least. But Purdue is one of those teams where they'll fuck you. They will really fuck you. Betting against them or with them. You can never tell. They'll beat Ohio State 55-24 one week, and then the next week they'll lose to Illinois. That's my experience betting Purdue. And this is week 1 Purdue. This is Penn State at home. Penn State's got something to prove this year. I think they win.
Yeah, I agree as well. I've always called Purdue the spoil makers because they spoil just a bunch of top 10 team dreams year in, year out, including Michigan State last year, Ohio State a couple years prior to that. So, yeah, but Penn State, they got something to prove, a lot happening, but don't have the defensive coordinator anymore, so that should be a little different when it comes to Happy Valley.
Oh, yeah. Joey, you got anything on there? You're kind of frozen on the screen, but I think I can hear you. Going once, going twice. Nah, we're going to kick him out so he knows, just so he knows. We got some more Thursday games, getting into the later games. Louisiana Tech at Missouri. It's an SEC game. I got Missouri winning. I don't know if they'll cover. The spread was kind of big for me on that one. And then Arizona State.
Who was it again?
That was Missouri and Louisiana Tech.
Okay.
And the spread,
Missouri.
we're asking for the spread. Spread is 20 points, -20 for the Missouri Tigers. That's a large spread. And Louisiana Tech's one of those teams that I haven't done much research on up to this point in the season, and I kind of like to see with my eyes and watch the game a little bit to get more data on them. And Minnesota had a big spread against New Mexico State. It's one of those teams that I think can do it. It's 36.5 points. It's just if they want to do it. I think PK Fleck this early in the season tries to get the ball running and get the ground game kind of established there towards the end of the game. Get out of there with least amount of injuries as possible.
Yeah, I think the same as well. I was actually, last year beginning of the season, they impressed me. I was really impressed. They came to Ohio State really well.
All right, now you're breaking up pretty bad.
All right, am I good?
Yeah, you're good.
Yeah, my power went out, so I had to wait for the Wi-Fi to kick back on.
Oh, that makes sense. Justin, you're not good. Joey, you guys just switched. So yeah, Justin, you figure it out. And then Joey, PK Fleck in the fighting Minnesota Gophers. What do we think here? I say it's a lot of points to cover for Minnesota, and I think they just try and get out there with the win in the late game. They just start running the ball.
Yeah, I wasn't impressed with New Mexico State, though. Minnesota is weirdly one of the teams. I was looking at this earlier today, the teams that cover more over the past couple years, and Minnesota is higher on that list. 36.5 is a lot. I won't be on this game either way, but if I had to choose, I'd say Minnesota covers.
You say Minnesota covers here?
I would, but I'm not going to bet it or lock it or anything.
Yeah. Understood. And the rest of these games.
I heard y'all talking about. I love Penn State -3.5. I don't think it's enough points. I think they win by like 10. So I'm on that. I'm betting that.
Yeah, I feel like they're gonna win, and I don't know if I put them on my pick 'em or not. I don't think I included them. I don't think I did, but I thought about it.
They're definitely mine.
I thought about it. All right, the rest of these games, I'm gonna skip the rest of the Thursday games. Going into the Friday games, we see Michigan State and we see Sparty host Western Michigan. I got Michigan State doing pretty good this year, so I say they get that win. Virginia Tech goes to Old Dominion, and I don't know what's up with the spread. Maybe Old Dominion has a pretty good team. Does anyone have any intel on Old Dominion here?
Yeah,
Not the country music band, the football team.
They've always been shit.
They upset Virginia Tech one of these years, though, right?
They did. That's
They
what
did.
I was about to say. I don't know, man. It's such a weird spread. I know Virginia Tech's breaking in a new quarterback, I'm pretty sure. But people aren't really high on Justin Fuente anymore. Is he still there? Justin Fuente is still there? Or did he get fired? I feel like he's still there, and he's like on the hot seat the last like 4 or 5 years. But
no, they have a new head coach. I mean,
no, I thought he got fired. Actually,
it's a sucker spread.
Yeah,
we're gonna do a little.
They have Grant Wells as a quarterback now, of course. Which he played Conference USA versus Old Dominion for a couple seasons, and Brent Pry, it's his first season as head coach for Virginia Tech.
That's right.
So it's going to be interesting for him. But Grant Wells, he struggled. He was very inconsistent. Maybe something could change for them over there, but I don't think that's going to happen in my mind. But it should still beat Old Dominion, hopefully this season. But a few years ago, they did not.
Yeah, I think they cover it, but it's just because of the name. It's just because of Virginia Tech. That's all I'm going off of right now. Like you said, new quarterback, new head coach. Got to wait and see what that's all about. But it's Virginia Tech, and always throw a pick out there for Virginia Tech. Just because of Sandman, just because of Enter Sandman. That's how it goes. Even though they're not playing at home this week. The Thursday games kind of outshine the Friday games, honestly. Illinois goes to Indiana. I don't know. Michael Penix Jr. kind of let me down last season. I thought from the previous season, I thought he was going to do really good last season, and then it just didn't pan out that way for Indiana. I liked how Illinois played last week. I think I'm going to give Illinois the upper hand there in the Big Ten, in their first Big Ten matchup. Looks like they got Indiana by -3. I'm going to go Illinois. No lock.
I kind of like Illinois too, but I'm not going to bet it.
Yeah.
I'm going to Indiana.
Going to go Indiana. Go against the grain, Justin. I understand. All right.
Always
Saturday. The first big Saturday of college football. Texas A&M hosts Sam Houston. They're going to blow Sam Houston out. We all know it. You know it. I know it. Everyone knows it. Michigan, Colorado State. Same thing. Michigan's going to be great this year. And NC State at East Carolina. That's where it gets kind of tricky for me. Like, I think NC State's going to have a good year, but it's going to be a little close. I don't know about the spread there. So I'm not going to talk about the spread on the Texas A&M Michigan game. I'll let you guys give your spiel there. But 11.5 for NC State. I think I like it. I think I'm going to go with the Wolfpack to cover by 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, they're my pick to win. They're my pick to win the ACC this year. They're going to have very good quarterback play and a very good defense. I mean, what more could you ask for? 11.5. I like it. I do. I hate how many favorites I like this week. I just know it's going to be a bloodbath in my bank account. But I'm going to have NC State. Like I said, I think they're better than Clemson. I think they're better than Pittsburgh. I think they're better than all those other teams. It's the highest preseason rank ever for NC State, by the way. So good for them. Also, fuck them. I hate them.
Nice. Yeah. Yeah, NC State's giving Florida State issues over the year, man. Like, Florida State owned them for a while, but here in the 2000 teens, kind of gave Florida State some issues. Even early in the – not early in the 2000s, in the later 2000s, gave Florida State issues. So
I'll never forgive them for the 2012 game where Jimbo Fisher shit the bed at coaching and they beat us. And we probably went to the national championship this year because I think we beat NC State, we beat Florida, and we go to the national championship. But anyway.
You didn't beat Florida in 2012. Maybe 2014.
I think we would have if they were playing for a national championship, bro. It was a good game.
I see what you're saying. Gotcha. I don't know. You could have. That was a good Florida defense, and that was Matt Elam. Carlos Dunlap was on that team. I believe Florida had a loaded defense that year. But anyway, let's not get into. It's not even rivalry week, Joey. What are we doing? Yeah, go ahead, Justin. You like NC State, Texas A&M, Michigan?
Yeah, I like all 3 of them. Give me Texas A&M, Michigan. NC State should be fine.
I'm curious to see the game that they get exposed, though.
Yeah. All right. Iowa, South Dakota State. Sorry, I hit it too late. South Dakota State at Iowa.
Who cares?
Yeah, no one cares about that one. Is that too loud? Can I turn it up some?
You turn it up.
Turn it up. All right. All right. Oh man. I'm gonna get to use my favorite soundbite this episode, and I'm so ready for it. Oh, so ready for it. But it's a later game. Let me see. Oh, it's like one of the middle games. Oh yeah, we'll get to it. We'll get to it. Okay. North Carolina going to Boone, North Carolina to face the Appalachian State Mountaineers, baby. This game, 11 a.m. Real lull in that visitor locker room in Boone, North Carolina at 11 a.m., boys. But not in the home locker. I got Appalachian State upsetting North Carolina. I don't even know if it's much of an upset. I think Appalachian State wins. They don't just cover. They win this game. I had 1.5. I had 1.5. What is that? Is that accurate?
Yeah, I got 1.5 too. This game's been bouncing back and forth. It was a pick 'em yesterday, and now it's at 1.5. So it's going to be interesting to see where it ends up on Saturday. But I agree with you, Robert. I like Appalachian State. It's one of the few underdogs I like this week. And you're right. You really can't call them an underdog with such a low spread. And I think it probably will be a pick 'em by the time the game starts. I don't believe in North Carolina. I don't think Mac Brown's hot shit. Really, everyone thought he was hot shit because of Sam Howell. And Sam Howell, I mean, the rest of the team, they had a couple good running backs that one year, but he was the whole team.
Yeah.
And Appalachian State's solid. They've been a solid program the last couple of years. I think they're in a more stable place. They're playing at home, like you said. I think they win this game by like 14 points.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. 14 points. You're calling 14 points?
Mm-hmm.
That'd be good. Lock it in? You want me to lock it in? It's locked. We're locked in. Joey's locked in on Appalachian State. Joey. Or here, no, I'm gonna take.
Won a huge bet
I'll
on
take
UFC. I'm sorry.
Oh, is it the contender series is going on Tuesday? We got a guy from Pensacola fighting. Trip.
He just won. That was
against
the big bet. He just won.
Let's go.
He bet against him though. He told me he bet against him. We're gonna go picks.
Big time. It's Devin
Locked. All right, Joey.
Sorry about that. That was a little interruption there.
No, you're good. Joey, you're locked in on App State plus 1.5. I'm taking notes, boys, so we remember next time. All right. Sorry. I got to get better at multitasking. Anywho, I want to make it a lock so bad now. I want to make it a lock so bad. Let me see. You know what? Fuck it. If he's wrong, I'm wrong. I'm going to lock it in as well. That's one of my first lock of the week. Do you want to lock it in, Justin?
No.
No.
I'll stick App State, but I'm not locking it in. I'm not
Gotcha.
locking it in.
You know, you got to spin them. You can't hold your locks.
Oh, I get that, but this is something that can go both ways very easily.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it could. I understand. All right, next game that catches my eye, and you guys, if I skip a game, let's go back to it. If you see on the ESPN schedule, that's what I'm looking at right now. Next game I got. I'm curious to see how Arkansas does against Cincinnati. I almost made this the game of the week, but it's not. So it's not going to be the game of the week. And I guess I feel like we have to talk about Oklahoma and Miami, even though they're playing. Oklahoma's playing UTEP. Bethune-Cookman's playing, or Miami's playing Bethune-Cookman. I think Miami's going to be good this season. I like Tyler Van Dyke, and they obviously win that game. Oklahoma, I'm curious to see how Brent Venable does there. Ready to see what their defense does and what they can do. But moving on to I guess we'll do this in three game waves, like I did you guys the first time. So Cincinnati at Arkansas. Cincinnati coming off a playoff appearance. Arkansas returning quarterback, returning Sam Pittman, one of my favorite head coaches. I think Arkansas gets the win here, and this is going to be my second lock of the week. I got Arkansas covering against Cincinnati.
Who cares?
Oh man, I who cared myself? That's fucking stupid. That's a lock. The wrong sound pad. Let's see what the spread is. -6 now. I think it was 4.5 earlier. But I got him at 6 too. I'll take him at 6. Any of those three? You comment on Oklahoma, Miami, Arkansas, Cincinnati.
I'll stick with Arkansas to beat Cincinnati. Who knows what Luke Fickell's doing with that team this year? He lost so much talent. Miami and Oklahoma, those are easy games, of course. So just roll with that.
Yeah. Joey, I'm not going to force you to say anything good about Miami. He's out. He didn't want to talk about Miami. Houston at UTSA, and this one surprised me with how the spread was. Houston was only favored by 4 points here, and
back.
I got Houston winning this game way big. I think they beat the Roadrunners.
Don't count out the Roadrunners. They were a good team in Conference USA last year. Good team last year. Do not count them out. Not saying they're going to beat Houston by any means whatsoever. They have one of the most exciting players in the country. But UTSA, they can play a little.
I know they can, but they'll drop the game to North Texas, and they played San Diego State, and it was 38-24 in the bowl game last year. And that's kind of what I looked at this one, because I know they were 13-1 going into that, or 12-1, right, going into that bowl game, and then
Yep.
And then they happened to lose, because I was on UTSA. We were on them because they were undefeated up until their second to last game. So I like Houston though. Houston, despite Cincinnati, maybe would have been in the AAC. Well, they were in the AAC championship. They played against Cincinnati, had to play them twice, and lost. Cincinnati made the playoffs. Houston had a pretty good team. I think they'll do just fine this year. I think they cover it. It's just -4.
Am I back?
You're black.
Cool. My Wi-Fi's been spotty since the power went out. Miami's that you're doing Miami, Cincinnati, and Houston.
Yeah, you can go. Yeah.
Okay, Miami. Not going to learn anything about them. I think they're going to be overrated this year. New quarterback, offensive system. Not really what Tyler Van Dyke does best, but he's young. Maybe he'll work out. I like Cincy. I'm not sold on Arkansas like everyone else is. Cincy's still going to be a really well coached football team. They obviously lost the 2 cornerbacks and Desmond Ridder, but they've just been a solid program since Luke Fickell's been there. Sam Pittman. Luke Fickell. I can't talk. Sam Pittman. He's a cool story. I think he is a good coach, but I just don't know how sustainable it's going to be. I think Arkansas might win this game. I'd probably pick Arkansas to win the game, but I think I think Cincy keeps it close. I think it's like 2-3 points at the end. So I'm going to take Cincy. And then Houston, UTSA. I love UTSA, but I don't know. This one's tough because Houston's going to have a good football team. I won't touch it, but I'd probably take Houston. UTSA was really good last year. They covered almost every week.
Yeah, they were good. I'm not saying they're not good. I'm not counting them out either. I just think Houston's a better football team here. I think
it's another thing.
It's like touchdown better.
It's week 1. We don't know what the team's going to be. If they're going to be repeat, or maybe it was just a flash in the pan.
Yeah, right. If I'm still saying the same thing, week 6, yeah, I'm doing you guys an injustice. But right now, the points are made up and nothing matters. Pretty much whose line is it anyway right here. All right. Nebraska's on the schedule here somewhere. We didn't really go in depth with it. Are we gonna? Scott Frost is on the hot seat. Are we going to give it over or under 6 games before they fire him?
I don't know what their first 6 games.
He's gone by week 8. He's gone by week 8.
Let's see. Well, they got 2 give-me games. Then you got Oklahoma loss, Indiana loss, Rutgers. I don't know. They'll lose to Purdue and Illinois. Yeah, week 8. That's about right.
All right. So over 6 games. That's good. I'll take that. I'll take it too. I think they stick with him for a little bit. Uh, BYU goes to South Florida. Ole Miss hosts Troy. Yeah.
Who cares?
Let's see. We're gonna go to Utah at Florida in the swamp at night, 6 p.m. Utah, very good team. Favorite by -3 here, and the fans, the matchup predictor for some reason on ESPN's got Florida 52%. So they got it about even. I don't know how it's so even. Utah, with all of its returning players, with the um, momentum they had going out of last season into this season, I got to give Utah the win here, just because Florida's got new coach and Billy Napier. We know Anthony Richardson has some sort of hidden talent if he can just throw the ball, right? It's not really hidden. He can run the ball, but can he stay healthy? Does Florida have a viable second option? Does Florida have depth? There's just too many uncertainties on Florida's part, even being a Florida fan for me. And there's too many consistencies on Utah's part to bet against Utah here. I think Utah gets the win. I think it's a close game. I think Florida comes out with a good attitude, and it's a close game. I got Utah winning this one.
You got it, Justin.
Yeah, looking at Utah last year, defensively, great team. Offensively, could use a little help here and there. So, I got a chance to interview Billy Napier back in June, and this is a big game that kept popping up, and it's he doesn't show a lot of emotion, but it's definitely going to be a work in progress. And I do not see them coming out and putting up a dub over a team that is literally played toe-to-toe with Ohio State on one of the biggest stages in college football in the Rose Bowl. So I'm going to stay with you, Rob. Give me Utah. I'm going to lock that in for my first lock as well.
All right. It's a lock.
Yeah, I'm not that into Billy Napier. We talked about this whenever he got hired. I think it was a reactionary hire to Florida, overcorrected going from a coach that wasn't recruiting very well. It doesn't really, not really interested in recruiting, to a coach that is considered a recruiting guru. I think there's a chance that he has success there, but it's not week one. It's not against the number 7 team in the nation. Like Robert said, this team returns a lot of starters off a team that was pretty good last year. Were they 10-4 or something? They were really competing for a playoff spot for a little bit. And I think they're going to compete for a playoff spot this year too. I don't think they'll be in there, but I think 3's low. I think 3 is saying this is an SEC school. They're playing at home. The matchup predictors, a bunch of people who are just picking them, I believe, because they're in the SEC. I think Utah walks away from this one with a win. I think it's pretty easy. Yeah, go ahead and lock that in.
You're locked in. I'm looking at the schedule here from last year, and it looks like they lost an early game at BYU, and BYU played upset to a number of teams, not only last year, but in the last few years. And then they had a back-to-back loss the next week against San Diego State at San Diego State in 3 overtimes, went on 3 win streaks, and then they lost to Oregon State. So they got their shit together towards the end of the season. They beat UCLA, who is a Chip Kelly team. I like UCLA. I've always liked Chip Kelly teams, even though they haven't been as consistent as the Chip Kelly Oregon of old times. And they whooped Oregon's ass twice, mind you, scoring 38 points in both of those games. And then damn near beat Ohio State, who was one of the best teams in the nation last year in the Rose Bowl, like you guys said. So ended the year on a high note. But early in the season, Florida might have a chance here. I don't know. I think they got their shit together enough to take care of a newly coached Florida team in week 1. But yeah, good locks. So both you guys.
That's actually in our pick'em. Me and Robert have to rank our picks 1 to 5. 5 being the most confident. Utah is one of my 5 picks. I think I really like this game. That means Florida's probably gonna get a win. So good luck, good job, congratulations.
Yeah, it seems like every time you pick against Florida, they do end up getting the win out there, and it's same with me. So I hope they get. I hope we win. I'm a Gator fan, as some of you guys know, and so I'm going to be watching it and rooting for us. I might even throw a bet on Florida, where I'm going to be in Biloxi that Saturday. So I'm this Saturday. So we're going to hit the sports book. I might even just throw a bet on them, just to give it a little extra extra meaning to it. All right, moving on. USC hosts Rice. This one is not even competitive lock for me. I think USC covers it. It's 32 points. They're going to come out in big fashion against Rice. Is that just me? That might just be me, but I'm excited to see what this USC team could do under Lincoln Riley.
No, it's definitely true. I mean, USC, they're going to use the offensive power that Lincoln Riley's had for over the past 5-6 years, and they're going to put it to good work. And it's going to be they're going to cover that 32 for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm going to be on this one. I'm kind of disappointed I missed it for our pick 'em, but it's going to be the opposite, really, that I think from what Billy Napier is going to be doing, because Lincoln Riley brought his quarterback in from Oklahoma, Caleb Williams, who should be a Heisman contender, I would think. I doubt he wins it, but not only did he do that, but he got the Biletnikoff winner from Pittsburgh. So they're going to come out and they're going to put up some points. I kind of like the over at 61.5. Rice has to go to the Pacific time zone in California. So,
yeah. There you go.
Put up some points.
Yep. Baylor, Wisconsin. Baylor's playing Albany State. Baylor's the returning Big 12 champions. So, hey, give it to them. I think Baylor's going to have a pretty good year this year, and we won't find anything too exciting about. Well, I can't even talk right now. We won't find anything out this week about Baylor. Same with Wisconsin. Wisconsin's poised to have a decent year, but they got to go through Michigan. They got to go through Ohio State. So that's two tough opponents there in the Big Ten. And the moment I've been waiting for, Kentucky hosts Miami of Ohio at Kentucky. And I don't think Kentucky's going to be terribly good this year, but I think they get the win. And yeah.
Kentucky is.
Yeah, that's my favorite soundbite. Go ahead. Let's talk about Kentucky.
Yeah. Kentucky, you got some crazy ass predictions for this team this year. Crazy. Some people are saying 10-2. I'm just like, what are you smoking, bro? What are you smoking? It's wild to think what people are doing in Lexington right now. Of course, Miami of Ohio, that'll be an easy win. That's usually like a warm-up game for most, G5 schools, of course. So, of course, having Kentucky play them week 1, that'll be fine, of course. But, man, this year's going to be wild with what happens in Lexington.
Yeah.
You might lose me here because my power just surged again. So we'll see what happens. Kentucky here, Mark Stoops is at the point. I don't know if you saw that little dispute between him and Calipari. And you lost me.
No, you're good. You're still here. I think he lost us this time.
Really? Okay. Well, you guys froze on my screen, so that's cool. Yeah, probably about 16.5. I think they cover that. I think they're going to try to prove a point, and they'll win big in this one. So.
Kentucky is.
That's what I'm talking about, Joey. All right, sticking with us throughout the technical difficulties. Hell yeah. All right.
Yeah, my power just keeps surging.
I actually skipped over this game. Yeah, no, that's fine. I skipped over this game because I thought it was going to be the game of the week, but it's not. So we'll go ahead and go back to it. Oregon at Georgia. I got Georgia winning this game. Not too sure about Oregon. I don't like the 17.5 points that I saw it at earlier, though. I think it's at 17 on ESPN now. I don't think Georgia's going to cover that. I like Oregon to cover, but I like Georgia to win. I'm not going to lock it by any means because Georgia could cover it. If their defense is stout enough, they could definitely cover that. Georgia's going to win the game.
Yeah, Oregon's interesting because they got a new coach. Obviously, it brings a new offensive coordinator, and the coach is the defense coordinator from Georgia last year. And then they brought FSU's offensive coordinator, probably a bad move because he wasn't very good. He was average. And a new quarterback, Bo Nix, from Auburn. Yeah. So I'm not touching this game at all. I have no idea. If I had – I mean, Georgia's going to win. I don't think that's any question. Georgia's going to win the game. Whether Oregon puts up a fight or not, I'm not sure. If I had to take a guess, I would say no. I don't think it's going to gel that early for that many new pieces. So Georgia's the pick.
Yeah, Georgia's the pick.
Yeah, perfectly said there. Wouldn't want to touch this game 10-foot pole betting wise. Georgia's going to win it pretty easily. Stetson Bennett, people are pretty hyped to have him back, and they're saying don't sleep on him because no one views him as a top quarterback in the SEC or in college football. And a lot of people are saying don't sleep on this kid. He's kind of real deal. We'll let that pan out this year because last year we know why he was so good. He had such a great defense, of course. This year's going to be a little different. He lost his wide receiver 1, and he lost Cook as well in the backfield, so it's going to be different.
There we go. So we're all enjoying. I'm glad to see Bo Nix in an Oregon uniform. I think it fits with his style, at least how Oregon was historically with the spread and all that. So I want to see him do good there, but it's just not this week. It's just not this week for him. All right. Looking down the line, Alabama, Auburn, they get the win over their respective teams. Alabama hosting Utah State, Auburn hosting Mercer. Got to cover the Southeastern games. Texas, new coach, Sarkisian. Am I right? Sarkisian? Yeah. I'm curious to see how Texas does against UL Monroe. UL Monroe put up a tough week 1 against who are they playing? I'm gonna go back and look who were they playing last year. No, they lost to Kentucky week 1. I'm trying to think. I might have the wrong team. I might be thinking the wrong team. I might be thinking of Louisiana. I guess Louisiana played Notre Dame early on in the season last year. I'm curious to see how Texas does because Texas has Alabama in week 3, and they don't have a week 2 game that's solid enough to get a good vibe on how they're doing. So curious to see how they do. And then they get that welcome to the SEC game there. But I'll be watching them. All right. Any thoughts on Texas? No.
Monroe was decent last year, so we'll see.
I'm just waiting for Alabama.
Just wait. Yeah, that's pretty much what they're doing. And I'm seeing Boise State at Oregon State, a late game. That'll be a cool late game to watch.
Oh, yeah.
And then you finish off with Western Kentucky and Austin Reed getting to travel to Hawaii to face the Warriors at 10:59 p.m. So 11 p.m. That's going to be a late game.
You missed one of my locks.
That's what I missed one of your like. Go ahead.
Louisville, Syracuse. Syracuse stinks. They had
that was one of my locks in the picks too. I can't believe I'm sorry about that.
Yeah, Syracuse had one good year a couple of years ago. I think it was 2018. They had a good quarterback, won 10 games. Dino Babers was a hot commodity. They've been hot trash since. They're not going to be good again. Louisville has Malik Cunningham, who is a top-tier quarterback in the ACC, and the ACC should have a lot of good quarterbacks this year. They're going to beat the bejesus out of Syracuse. 4.5 is a gift, and I'm going to take it.
Here's a lock. There's a lock for you at 4.5 for Louisville. Yeah, I put that one in my pick 'em. I completely agree with you, Joey. I think Louisville covers in a big way. You got any thoughts there, Justin, on Louisville, Syracuse? It's a pretty good lock. It's a pretty good lock to get.
Yeah, Syracuse used to have I don't know. I think he might come back this year. I can't remember his name, but he would tweet out after every single game. It was kind of funny. He would tweet out like about his performance, about the team's performance, and it was like something we always looked like college football fans always look forward to was just watching him tweet. I think it was like second team ACC last year, but Louisville's going to be okay this year, so I'm going to stick with Louisville on this one.
Yeah, I am curious. I think Malik Cunningham is like he's been good the last couple of years, but he could take a big step this year. He's one of those guys who benefited from having the extra COVID year. So, yeah, I wouldn't sleep on Louisville, like you said.
We brought the Georgia Bulldogs out. I'm fucking with it. They're Boston Terriers. I would never own a Bulldog. Just out of principle. Would never own a Bulldog. All right, that's all the games I would like to cover for Saturday besides our game of the week. We'll get to that. Florida State, Sunday, Superdome, playing basically at LSU. I'm going to be at this game, and I think it's going to be a fun game to be at. I got LSU covering. It's -2.5, -3 now on ESPN. I think I'm going to make this my lock because out of spite, this is going to be my final lock. It's a spite lock, but I'd rather spend it here than the game of the week strategically. Just because fuck you guys for locking in Utah. Honestly, this is just because of that. LSU gets the victory.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm locking in LSU too. Don't know what the fuck he was about. I thought that was non-biased, but all right. Whatever that guy.
This is not a non-biased podcast. This is a shit-talking podcast.
Very biased podcast.
Sorry, hold on. Let me get on my professional radio-ness over here. Let me get into this podcast where it's shit can do whatever. No, because I'm a Florida fan too, right? But if I'm always gonna be a realistic Florida fan. It is not going to be good for them when they face Utah. But FSU and LSU, dude, I've been seeing some FSU fans. Like I said earlier, they're just always around this town, and they're thinking they got a real deal chance versus LSU. And I'm like, you're drunk. All I gotta say to that is you're drunk. Give me LSU as a lock.
Gotcha. Locked it up. Justine. Yeah. I typed your name in as Justine. It was a typo. It's a typo.
I don't know. This game it's interesting. You got LSU. They didn't have enough players to start spring practice because too many players transferred or quit or went to the NFL or whatever. It's a super talented team, but their O-line they're starting. I think a freshman, a couple transfers. They've never played one snap together. Anybody on the offensive line. They're starting a transfer quarterback, Jaden Daniels, who is known. He's very good with his legs. But he's not known for being an accurate passer. They got very good wide receivers. I can't think of the one name, the one guy that they got who's going to be a first-round draft pick in the NFL. Their D-line's going to be good, but here's the thing: they got a new coach. None of these guys have played together. Jordan Travis, I know you said you don't like him. I haven't been super impressed with him. He's apparently been lighting it up. Like I said, the end of last year, he was playing very good. Listen, I think Mike Norvell's a good coach. You saw it at the end of last year whenever he was playing more talented teams tough. He should have beat Clemson last year, a team that was immensely more talented than them. They come up with a good game plan. They scheme together one-on-ones, and they've been scheming together one-on-ones, getting guys open who are way less talented than the other guys. They went out and got the guys in the transfer portal. They have some wide receivers who can play now. They have some running backs who can play now. I think they put a solid game together. I think they lose to LSU by 2 points.
All that just to say it.
But he said by 2 points, the spread's 3.
I like it. Before the season, before that game against Duquesne, I really thought that they were going to win it. I just really wasn't impressed, man. But Mike Norvell,
even though it's 40 points, because we both said if they don't win by 30, my dog's heard your dog. My dog's just heard Stella. That's what hey. That's what I fucking thought.
Right. The thing is, LSU is just more talented than them. Brian Kelly is a good coach.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Go ahead.
I've always said this. Brian Kelly, yeah, he was successful at Notre Dame, where you would call that success at most schools. Him getting to the playoffs so many times and not winning anything wasn't successful. But you put SEC talent into his playbook, it's going to change a whole different dimension of what we're going to see LSU do. It's not going to show this year. I don't think it's going to show right off the bat. We got to let him recruit a little bit. 2 years down the road, this guy, yeah, it's going to be interesting seeing what happens with them, of course. FSU, like we talked about earlier, it's just I don't see them doing what they usually can do.
But here's the thing, like the way the schedule lines up is the end of the season's really tough. If you win this LSU game, and what you guys probably didn't hear me say last time because because I cut out because my power went out, and Sam Hartman doesn't play for Wake Forest, if you win this LSU game, you're staring 5-0 in the face because of the way the schedule lines up. You have a very winnable game at Louisville. I think Louisville's going to be good, but we're better than them. Personally, that's just what I believe. You got Wake Forest after that, who without Sam Hartman you will beat. You got Boston College, who you're going to beat because they're just not going to be very good. And then you have someone shitty. I can't remember who it is. That's 5-0. If you lose this LSU, you still got 4-0. You still have a season to go. But here's the argument for you can still have a good season. Was what I was trying to say. Here's the argument for Florida State. They played Notre Dame, Brian Kelly's team, to overtime last year. That team was supremely more talented than Florida State, and I think that team is better than this LSU team. They were together longer. Brian Kelly had been coaching them the entire time. They could have spring practice because they had enough players on that team. This LSU team is worse than that Notre Dame team. This Florida State team is better than that Florida State team. I mean, if you use that logic, the transitive properties don't usually match out, but there's a way Florida State wins this game. I think it's going to be a really fun game to watch, personally. I think it's going to be, it's going to be tough nose. It's probably going to be under. I don't like 51.5 for the over, but I think LSU pulls it out just because, it's going to be tough for FSU to run on them, and that's what they want to do. The difference, if Jordan Travis can throw for over 250 yards, that's what I would say. If Jordan Travis throws for over 250 yards, FSU wins. If he throws under, I think they lose.
Are we getting botted right now?
Yeah, we're getting super botted right now.
Are we really? That's awesome.
That's funny.
Oh,
Botted
69mega.com. Let's go.
Nice. All right. I blocked it on YouTube, so hopefully they don't see that. They can't see it on the stream.
I'm clicking
People,
on it.
You're clicking on it. Don't get botted yourself. Yeah. And Monday, Clemson at Georgia Tech. The spread's pretty big here. Spread is like 16 points, I want to say. I'm clicking on it now.
No, 21.5.
21.5 for you. ESPN doesn't have the spread on there. 21.5 in our pick'em. I got Georgia Tech covering that. I'm not too huge on Clemson this year.
I like Clemson. This is another game. You want to talk about supremely over-talented. Georgia Tech is falling down a hole fast. I think – I can't think of the coach's name, but he was hired at the same time. Mike Norvell came from the same conference. He's out. He won't last 6 games. I'll take the under on him for 6 games. I think Clemson blows them out of the water. I don't think Georgia Tech scores, personally. Clemson's defense is still going to be good. I hate DJ Uiagalelei, however you say it. Close enough. I think that he gets replaced part of the way through the season. I think he'll probably score 21 points himself. They take him out, put in someone who's supremely more talented than he is, and score a shitload more points. This might be like a 49 to 56 to nothing game.
Wow. If they do that, then I'm with you. I don't know.
Yeah, if they cover the spread, then I'm with you. Yeah.
Yeah. If they cover the spread in a big way, not if they just barely cover. If they cover in a big way, I'm with you on the head coach for Georgia being out. Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech's one of those teams of old that was super good back in the classic college football days. And so you got that fan base that's like wanting more, but they just haven't been good in a while. But I don't know. I'll say first game. I think Georgia Tech plus what did you say,
21.5?
Yeah, 21.5.
Yeah, I think it's free money.
I'm not gonna lock it. I'm not gonna lock it in by any means. You could be right. Clemson definitely wins. You got anything on Clemson?
Yeah, no, I agree. No, nothing crazy. I think it's going to be a little bit of a bounce back here, though. I think they should be atop the ACC. Not a lot of people are saying that. You could say the ACC is wide open. I had that perspective more last year after NC State put them down. This year, though, I think it's going to be between those two, and I think Clemson should come out on top. But I could be way off, and Dabo could be in trouble. But we won't really know that until we get a little bit deeper in the season.
Clemson, here's the thing about Clemson that's interesting this year is they lost both their offensive coordinators because they had co-offensive coordinators, and they lost their defensive coordinator. So Dabo's whole thing is he hires people who are better at coaching than him to coach. And now he's had to do it, have a whole new staff. We'll see if Dabo's the guy. because personally, I don't think he's that good a football coach. I think he's a good manager, in baseball. He's a manager. He's not a coach.
Yeah.
So we'll see. We'll see if what he did.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll definitely see, and we'll see any changes in the defense. Like you said, they're still going to be stout, still a solid defense. Yep. I just started laughing at us getting botted in the stream. 69mega.com in our chat said, "Stop watching the stream. Find love." You assholes. We had like 3 people live watching. And now we're down to just 1 because 69mega.com came in here and stole our viewers.
Do you think 69mega.com is
I
the
think
one
they
viewer?
went straight there. Yeah, they went straight there. Why wouldn't it just advertise their shit? Why'd they have to say stop watching the stream? Some guy who likes college football but also runs 69mega.com was like, fuck this stream. Come to 69mega.com. That's our new sponsor. Maybe we should team up with them.
I'll support him.
Oh,
You'll support them? All right. We're gonna wrap this thing up, bringing it into the game of the week. This one's big. One of my favorite comedians. I'm going to see the Bert Kreischer Fully Loaded comedy tour on Friday.
Love Bert.
Yeah,
Love Bert.
and
He's
and
awesome.
it's not just Bert. It's Joey Diaz. It's Mark Norman, and this comedian might not be performing anymore because it's a rescheduled date. He might be at this game instead, or going to this game instead. He's a big Notre Dame fan. Shane Gillis, big, huge Notre Dame fan. I've been hearing him talk about this game for weeks on there. This is the game of the week. Number 5 Notre Dame going to number 2 Ohio State in the shoe. I got Ohio State winning this game.
Welcome to college football, Marcus Freeman. I mean, this is going to be tough, this guy, man. It's going to be really tough. It's going to be a slap in the face. You're facing off probably arguably the best quarterback, if not the second best quarterback in the country. You are facing off against the best receiver duo, and you're also facing off against a top 3 running back. Good thing you are a defensive coordinator. Just don't see this panning out for them whatsoever. It's going to be fun, though. But Notre Dame, they haven't won I think the top 5 games or top 10 games they've played this decade, I think they've won like less than 7 of them. So that just tells you they don't play in big games, and this will also be such a tough welcoming to Marcus Freeman.
Yeah. Matchup predictor 83.5% on ESPN. Yeah. Go ahead, Joey. It's minus 17.
Am I here?
Joseph. We can hear you. Yeah. He's not getting you're not getting the memo.
The worst luck in history of. Wait. I think my back.
Dude, we have never lost you.
We never lost him. Oh shit!
You've been hearing this whole time. Me talking.
Yeah,
I
no,
can't hear you all.
yeah. There's like a delay or something. Your Wi-Fi is just like.
Ohio State by 1 million. I'm getting off.
Ohio State by 1 million. He gives up. It's basically he ejected himself. It's like he was just getting the message from Mars or something. But yeah, all right. That's gonna be the picks for the week. I hope I don't have to take any shots. Let's see. I think I only got 2 locks written down from you. You had Utah, and I got
Ohio
you on
State was Ohio State.
Ohio State's your final lock. We'll lock it in. That's been week 1 college football. We're gonna get this right. I promise you. At some point,
we made it through a full pod, though.
Yeah, we made it through a full pod, and that's all we can ask for. Like and subscribe, and watch us grow. Help us grow the community, guys. We're working hard. We're working men over here who love college football. Have a good night.